On April 21st, 2016, a Reddit user posted a thread in the Black Ops subreddit with a question that sounded simple at first, but quickly spiraled into something far more unsettling. Why would there be 30-ish Wi-Fi networks seemingly emanating from under a concrete pad? The user explained that he had recently been living on a semi-urban farm property in Hawaii. The area was quiet, sparsely populated, and surrounded by red volcanic soil and old mountain terrain. For months, he had noticed a few strange occurrences around the property, but had brushed them off. That was until he began scanning for Wi-Fi networks. What he found made no sense. There were approximately 25 to 30 Wi-Fi networks visible from his device. That alone wasn't necessarily strange. Urban neighborhoods can have dozens. But this wasn't a dense neighborhood. It was rural farmland. More disturbingly, every single one of these networks had nearly identical low signal strength. Even stranger, they all peaked at the exact same physical location. Curious, the user downloaded a Wi-Fi analyzer app to get more precise readings. He walked in slow circles around the area, watching the signal strength shift. The results were clear. As he stepped away from a specific concrete pad on the property, the signals weakened. As he approached it, they strengthened. All of them, together. It appeared as if dozens of Wi-Fi access points were broadcasting from directly beneath that slab of concrete. If that weren't enough, the network names, the SSIDs, changed every 5 minutes or so. The signals would disappear, reappear, and cycle through new identifiers. It felt automated, coordinated. Determined to investigate further, the user borrowed a thermal imaging device. He scanned the concrete pad and noticed a distinct hotspot near the same area where the Wi-Fi signals peaked. The rest of the slab was cool. This one section, however, glowed warmer than the surrounding surface. He decided to test it physically. Using a hammer drill and masonry bit, he drilled several holes in the concrete, one directly above the hot spot, and others scattered around as controls. After drilling, he poured water into each hole. Only one hole drained, the one directly above the thermal hotspot, allowed the water to disappear as if there were empty space beneath it. The others simply filled and overflowed. Something was under that pad. Later that day, other Reddit users began asking questions. Was there a visible power source nearby? Were the power lines connected? Could the devices be traced? The original poster responded that there were power lines on the property, but they weren't connected to the city's main grid. Instead, they ran toward a large steel frame building owned by a wealthy neighbor. According to him, that building had questionable construction history. Some contractors who worked on it were described as shady. Adding to the intrigue, the entire mountain area had reportedly been used by the military during World War II. While there were no officially listed bases in that precise location, the user believed underground facilities might still exist. The rural terrain and history made it plausible in his mind. As the thread grew, he posted photographs. One image showed a multi-breaker electrical setup. A lower conduit appeared to run beneath asphalt and toward the same peak signal location on the concrete pad. Another photo showed the drilled hole that drained water. Yet another showed a random bucket he found on the property, one that reminded him of the hydrofluoric acid body disposal scene from the TV show Breaking Bad. The comparison added a dark undertone to the mystery. Someone asked about the thickness of the slab. If heat was coming from below, it should dissipate, not stay concentrated. The user responded with another photo. The concrete pad was roughly twice as thick as the surrounding concrete. It was also unusually hard, mixed with embedded river rocks. The surrounding areas were easy to drill. This pad was not. He continued drilling closer to the hotspot, eventually reaching about 2 feet away from the center. He described the heat there as unbearable. He compared it to reaching into a composting bin, intense warmth, radiating upward. Yet he insisted there were no signs of microbial activity. The soil was red volcanic dirt, not typical compost material. Then abruptly, the main comment chain ended. But that wasn't the end of the story. Other users suggested attempting to connect to one of the Wi-Fi networks to identify the hardware manufacturer. They also asked whether the electrical meter was spinning unusually fast, an indicator of multiple powered devices, and whether any heat vents were visible nearby. He replied that while connecting might be possible, he couldn't crack the passwords. He didn't address the power meter directly, but did upload a photo of the surrounding area, pointing out spots where hidden vents could theoretically exist. As discussions deepened, additional strange details surfaced. Large underground liquid tanks had reportedly been removed from the property at some point in the past, implying significant subterranean space. A municipal storm drain nearby had recently been replaced with a much larger structure built directly across from the property line. The user speculated it could serve as an entrance to something underground. He also claimed that late at night, he had seen trucks hauling away large amounts of broken, yet oddly new-looking concrete from neighboring trash bins. Why would so much fresh concrete be discarded? Then came the most dramatic twist. The Reddit user claimed he had linked his former boss's account to an eBay seller named Che Bay. That seller specialized in strange listings, faulty hard drives, broken electronics, and other defective tech. The reviews were described as suspicious. Soon after this connection was mentioned publicly, the seller's feedback and reviews were set to private. To the Reddit user, this suggested someone had discovered he was digging too deep. When asked if he felt safe, he responded that he was in a pretty good spot and that they wouldn't get him easily. Speculation exploded. Some commenters theorized the faulty hard drives were a way to transfer data covertly. Others connected the eBay account to broader conspiracy theories circulating during the 2016 U.S. presidential election cycle, particularly the viral Pizzagate conspiracy. That theory falsely claimed that a hidden criminal ring had been uncovered through leaked emails connected to political figures. The Reddit thread became a breeding ground for elaborate narratives, tying together underground bunkers, secret servers, covert data storage, military remnants, and political conspiracies. But as quickly as it escalated, the story unraveled. Reports later surfaced that the original poster allegedly struggled with mental health issues. His former boss entered the thread and provided personal details, claiming the user had a history of paranoia. According to the boss, the man once ripped a ceiling fan from his own apartment because he believed he was being watched. The boss denied any connection to the eBay account and dismissed the claims as delusional leaps. He insisted there was no underground operation, no hidden network, and no conspiracy, just misunderstanding and paranoia amplified by internet speculation. Still, not everyone was convinced. After all, there had been thermal readings, drilled holes, draining water, electrical conduits, removed tanks, late-night concrete disposal, photographs, patterns. Was it an elaborate secret installation? A hidden server farm powered independently? An agricultural monitoring system? Or simply a combination of misinterpreted signals, nearby devices, and coincidence amplified by imagination? To this day, no definitive explanation has surfaced. The Wi-Fi signals, the heat beneath the concrete, the mysterious drainage. Whole, all remain unanswered questions buried beneath speculation and doubt. What began as a simple Reddit post about strange Wi-Fi networks became an internet mystery blending technology, rural isolation, conspiracy theories, and questions about perception versus reality. And like many stories born online, it faded without closure, leaving behind only archived threads, unanswered questions, and the lingering possibility that something was, or perhaps wasn't, hidden beneath that slab of concrete in Hawaii.